Search created one of the most powerful business advantages a company has ever had. Being the router for the entire web formed a moat and a monopoly that no one has been able to compete with. So why do some people think a small AI startup can? You know a business is great when it spends all of its time saying it's not a monopoly.
Monopolizing web searching.
A monopoly for more than a decade.
Search dominance to monopolize online search services.
For the past couple decades, Google has done just that. They created a product that was synonymous with the internet. And when competitors came along, whether it was Yahoo or Bing or any other sound, the search giant didn't even flinch. Google turned their massive plot of digital real estate into an insanely profitable lever. This allowed them to invest in other projects, create an entire ecosystem for users, and pay large sums for smartphone makers to set Google as the default search engine across devices. Google could also move quickly on key acquisitions like YouTube and DeepMind. The DeepMind investment gave the search giant substantial insight into the development of neural networks and other AI advancements. In 2017, the lab's famous research paper that detailed the transformer became, largely unbeknownst to the search giant, the basis for the AI revolution we're currently experiencing. OpenAI leveraged the findings in that research paper to take the lead in inspiring the world with AI's capabilities and delivering a product that created a universal wow moment. Ever since then, and despite every lever at their disposal, money, talent, ecosystem, user base, Google has been playing catch-up with fairly mixed results and some wild controversy. And we could spend this video talking about OpenAI versus Google, but there's a small startup that paints a much more interesting portrait of Google's greatest fears: Perplexity. Aravind Srinivas was an intern at OpenAI in 2018, where he researched generative AI. Then he interned at Google's DeepMind before fully joining the company in 2020. Inspired by Google founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin, Aravind realized he wanted to be an entrepreneur and execute his own vision. He believed AI could create the ultimate search experience, understanding everything on the web and giving users exactly what they wanted.
The idea of combining large language models and web search together in the form of a new product called Perplexity.
Thus, Perplexity was born. Here's the idea. Perplexity crawls the web and creates an index that is constantly updated. This isn't new and is pretty much how every search engine operates. When a user asks a question, Perplexity translates the input to maximize key details. So, did that Irish guy who did that British show win an Oscar for that movie about an American bomb? Would become something like this. Then, they use AI to scan the index, take the parts relevant to the question, put key context into a readable format, and summarize the findings with ChatGPT. A user is provided with the answer they were looking for, links for the sources that the information came from, and the ability to ask follow-ups. If it seems simple, it is. The beauty is its simplicity. But there was a notable problem when Perplexity launched. The responses were slow, extremely slow. The team moved quickly to optimize their index, search speed, accuracy, and inference times. And it worked. Perplexity's initial response time was about 10 seconds. With the tweaks, that plummeted to an average of 1 second. And when they adopted ChatGPT 4 for responses, hallucinations went from 1 in every 10 to 1 in every 100. What was an AI wrapper became a differentiated tech stack in many ways and led to a product used by tens of millions of users each month. It also attracted backing from billionaires like Jeff Bezos. But is it defensible? That's an important question Aravind has had to ask himself. You may think, well, Google can simply copy and paste this stack and Perplexity would cease to exist. And although that's true, Google would likely never do that because it would endanger the one thing that has made it the dominant company it is today. This is a classic example of the innovator's dilemma, a concept popularized by Clayton Christensen. It refers to the challenge established companies face when a disruptive technology or business model emerges. The incumbent, focused on serving their existing customers and maintaining profit margins, often fails to adapt quickly enough, allowing the upstart to gain a foothold. Google's most lucrative real estate is the few links that come ahead of exactly what you're looking for. Aravind argues that Google's current business model, which relies heavily on advertising revenue generated by users clicking on multiple links and spending more time on the site, disincentivizes them from providing direct answers, even if they have the technical capability to do so. Shifting to a more answer-oriented approach could disrupt their profitable status quo, creating an opening for a startup like Perplexity to gain market share by offering a better user experience. The real threat to Perplexity would be someone like OpenAI, creating a solution like this. They're heavily incentivized, well-funded, and could put the feature in the hands of hundreds of millions. But there's also a good reason they wouldn't do this. OpenAI's goal isn't to be the best chatbot, search engine, API provider, or soap opera show for Succession fans desperate to fill the void that Kendall Roy has left in our lives. Their goal is to be the company that introduces AGI. Sure, it's nice to do a few cool tricks along the way, but AGI is the full focus. This might leave just enough of a window for Perplexity to iterate, differentiate, market, and grow. And that's pretty cool, because everyone loves an underdog. Speaking of underdogs, check out our video on the small company that made the fastest AI chip on Earth. Perplexity isn't alone in chasing the AI-powered search market. There's clearly blood in the water, and a few startups with a varied range of use cases and features are making noise. As for Google, they have such a strong hold on so much of the internet's ecosystem, from how you send emails to how you log into your favorite apps. Search has provided a massive war chest that will sustain them for a very long time. And it's not like there's no innovation happening at Google. For example, they've built a citation feature into Gemini that allows you to reference their responses with certain sources, similar to the way Perplexity can do it. But the innovator's dilemma is real. Blockbuster wouldn't switch to streaming because the movie rental business was their cash cow at the time. Newspapers were slow to adopt a great digital business model because physical papers were a profitable product. IBM lost the personal computer race because their primary business was large-scale mainframe computers. Again and again, the dilemma proves itself. And without a full-blown self-disruption of the best business moat of the past few decades, it very well may again.